We'll
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. We'll start a new chapter, that is how to design the algorithm that are going to produce a suboptimal solution for the problem. I mean the NP complete, or in particular the NP hard problem. So if you look into the discussion, sometimes I spell out this particular term, that is approximation algorithm. As the name suggests, it is uh, itself, the name suggests that we are not going to find out the exactly the result. Uh, so there is some compromise. The compromise is like this. Suppose I try to find out a shortest path using 50 cities. What I am going to do, oh, I am not considering two cities, but I am considering the city with a 48 nodes or the graph, and I compute the shortest path from a particular city for a traveling salesman problem, starting with a particular city and return to that city uh, in polynomial time, right? So here that is sometimes termed as the approximation. You see, the approximation is like this: you are ignoring certain inputs of the instance. So what is the catch here? That means I try to design a polynomial time algorithm. I could not design for the problem is given to me or the instance. So I try to do certain approximation to the problem. In the process of approximation, I have to delete two nodes. Okay, but I, instead of trying for the 50 nodes, I am trying for the 40 nodes, and I find out a uh, polynomial time algorithm who is going to produce a solution to me. Definitely, I am not finding the best solution. I am finding a suboptimal solution to the problem, or a solution to the problem, and the compromisation is comes when I am going to ignore to the inputs. This is just a rough definition. So we start looking into studying the best object from the finite space of the objects, or you can say we try to select the best solution among the available solutions. So uh, the first problem is talks about, let us say we try to find out the shortest path, and if someone is going to prove that, okay, you are starting with a node with 1,000 nodes, it will take a couple of years to find out the shortest path. Then one of the approach is to design a heuristic algorithm which can find out the suboptimal solution in polynomial time. So another approach is to use approximation algorithm to find out the solution in polynomial time. If you look into the text or the contribution, you can find approximation algorithm in your Klinberg et Tedus. You can find approximation algorithm in your common algorithm book. I mean, many algorithm books are discussed, but there are dedicated texts are there. But the good thing is that when we look into dedicated text, we are finding many text which are popular, or this approximation algorithm is addressed by Indian author. So I am sharing something. This is the approximation algorithm by Bijar Bajriani. So this is a complete text on approximation algorithm. What we try to do actually, we'll try to study some simple application to which I can apply approximation algorithms. Okay. So when we are looking into a problem, and the problem is NP complete problem. Okay, 1 minute. There is some noise. I have to close the door. Please hold on. Sorry. It's a noise, so I have to close the door. Okay. Uh, so we are exactly looking into the problem domain and where we have complete books on that. But we try to look into some common problems like traveling salesman problem or 01 knapsack problem for which we are going to design approximation algorithm. So not exactly any text to be followed, so you can follow it within the Corman, and this is the book which is available freely actually. Design approximation algorithm for David P. Um, Wilmanson. So why we need this book? Sometimes when we work towards the solution to a problem, uh, we try to do the experiments, we try to do the implementation with some sample data, and we argue that we have obtained a algorithm. This particular domain is completely theoretical work. That means, let us say you are working on to find out the solution for the placement of the wireless controller in a wireless sensor network environment, or how many controllers you need. You may to take the help of the different simulator or algorithm to find out the concentrator solution, but you can also design approximation algorithm for to find out the solution. Here, the algorithm which is proposed is uh, supported by the theorem provings, or in particular, you can say this is mostly a theoretical analysis. And so this is the fourth one is this is the common book for NP complete problem. The fourth book which is commonly available, you look into this title because most of the real world problems are NP hard problems. So this is one of the approach. First to remember, this is one of the approach to find out the solution to NP hard problem, and sometimes we call it as a NP complete problem. Okay, we'll go back to the introduction where we have the problems what we try to target. There's a test path problem, traveling salesman problem, and maximum network life problem, because in wireless network we try to maximize the lifetime of a network because the battery power is dissipated when we try to perform certain work. Okay, so all of this problem, if you'll mark this particular line, so we have a clear cut objective. The shortest path finds the shortest path that is least cost between them. Traveling salesman, we find out the minimum cost cycle, and the network lifetime is to be maximized. So these are simple example of a optimization problem. But when it is asked, write down a approximation algorithm for any of this problem, what you have to do. So we'll be discussing the two things, the classification, the property of the approximation algorithm, as well as the methodology that can be used to find out the approximation algorithm. So one of the interesting facts, the fact is that suppose for a shortest path problem, you are designing a greedy algorithm. So to that greedy algorithm can be proved to be approximation algorithm, provided that greedy algorithm is not going to produce the optimal solution. So if not optimal solution, some solution you are finding, if we'll characterize that solution, or if we'll find a measure of that solution, if that comes under a tolerance range, then I can say that particular greedy algorithm is a optimization algorithm. So that is the reason when we say what are the different techniques are available to design approximation algorithm, we adopt, or it is in general it is adopted, that greedy paradigm is one of the approach to design approximation algorithm. I want to again clarify, you are designing a greedy algorithm which is not going to produce optimal solution. But there are certain properties or one of the condition, if it is going to satisfy, then I can claim that particular algorithm is a approximation algorithm. So that particular property is reported as a ratio. If we can say it is a row approximation algorithm, or some constant term is being used, which is a numerical value, and that particular value is sometimes greater than 1, sometimes less than 1. Based on that, exactly I can call the algorithm is a 2 by 3 approximation is like this. So in a question what we are finding, a problem is defined, or let us say traveling salesman problem is defined. You are asked to design a 2 by 3 approximation algorithm. This is the question, the way it is asked. Okay, now we'll little bit talk about the NP completeness. So when we talk about the NP completeness, we have seen many problems. The time solvable optimization problems are of the polynomial time algorithm. So one of the problem is max cut min flow theorem, the minimum cut or the maximum flow. So this maximum matching problem. So there are many optimization problem which can be taken into consideration. What is exactly a approach? You look into the line. The problem is the NP complete problem. So what answer is comes from a designer? I cannot find a efficient algorithm. I guess I am just too dumb. So what he tried to say, he cannot find a efficient algorithm does not mean that the efficient solution is not possible. He is expressing the limit, expressing his uh, limiting or is a limitation so that he is not able to find out that. But nowhere it is says you do not have an efficient algorithm. So when there are many people are developing efficient algorithm, how we are going to correlate? So you'll be finding one more term that is called polynomial time approximation scheme, or one term is approximation algorithm. Second term, which is very important, which is called approximation scheme. Approximation scheme is nothing but a set of algorithm with a certain tolerance level. That means if you are collecting all 1 by 3 approximation algorithms, you can call them as a approximation scheme, or you have taken a set of algorithm where everybody is a constant distance or within a certain distance from a optimal solution. That means if my optimal solution value is 50, then I am going to propose 3 or 4 different algorithm, all computes the solution within 53. That means sometimes it is 50, sometimes 51, 52, 53. So with that measure, we put all those algorithm into a single group. We call them as a approximation scheme. So this is just a overview. If you forget that, because this material sometimes it is being delivered as a independent material for approximation algorithm. So it's just a repetition of a problem when we talk about a non-deterministic polynomial time and NP complete problem. So I am skipping this one. So when it comes to the NP complete problem, this is introduced about the first NP complete problem, that is your satisfiability problem. So these are introduction we use when we teach independently this as a paper. So we'll skip those slides. So now you see the person who says I cannot find efficient algorithm, but I don't have any reason why I cannot find, but I took to the help of the other people also. They also could not find a efficient algorithm for the problem. So efficient is the term which is relatively used. Okay, now another things which is a open problem in computer science, that is P equal to NP. When we try to design a polynomial time algorithm, we could not able to design a polynomial time algorithm for NP complete problem. Rather than we go for a different type of approach. So here in this approach, we are designing a polynomial time algorithm, but the solution or the solution which we are obtaining is not exactly the best solution. So this is how to cope with the NP completeness. That is the reason is that I cannot find efficient algorithm because no such problem is possible. No such problem is possible because no such algorithm is possible because I don't find any designing scheme that fits into that so that I can design a efficient algorithm. Now, if you're coming to the coping of the NP completeness. So we have a different proof. We are not considering this one for the time being because we'll be discussing this within the NP complete chapter. Now, there is a motivation. We have many NP complete problems and none of them has a polynomial time algorithm. Then what one has to do? We are looking for some paradigm, some design methodology to design a polynomial time algorithm. Please remember, we are looking for designing a polynomial time algorithm. We are not talking about the quality of solution. And for what? For the NP complete problems. So now this with the motivation. So then we try to put the different ideas and the thoughts, either we approximate the input or we compromise with the solution and we try to design. So the motivation, if we'll summarize these things, the best algorithm for NP complete problem requires exponential time. So in the worst case, or maybe we are talking of a brute force case, or might be some algorithm or method is there which that is too much time consuming. So we cannot adopt that algorithm in practice. We need algorithm that can produce the solution. I'm not commenting whether it's a best solution, only I say a solution within a fixed time frame. Second, to reduce the time required to solve the problem, we cannot relax the problem. So relax the problem means we cannot reduce the problem to a simpler form, that the original problem formulation is getting reduced and you are obtaining a result for one case only. That means if I say I have got set of points, if I'll assume that all points are in the straight line, I may find out the solution easily. Either I can say x coordinate is 0 or y coordinate is 0, but that ignores huge amount of possibilities of the various coordinates in a Cartesian plane. So I cannot say I developed a algorithm when all points, either x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is 0. I find out a path between the points. So to obtain a feasible solution that is close to the optimal solution is the agenda, by proposing a algorithm design mechanism that is called an approximation algorithm. So many of the problems that rise in practice are application of discrete optimization or NP-hard. This is the optimal solution cannot be computed in polynomial time. So we have to look into a particular scheme. So these are few motivations when we talk about the problems, why we are trying to go for the approximation algorithm. This is the slide to refresh you about the NP complete definition and the NP hard. So these are the problems which is both in NP and NP hard. That means we cannot solve the problems. We cannot solve the other NP problem. So there is vice versa. If you have a solution for any NP complete problem, then we can have a solution polynomial time algorithm all NP problems. This is the open problem. So in theoretical computer science, so NP problems are those problems that are both NP hard and in the complexity class in NP. So for the time being, you just remember as a definition, we'll be clarifying in that complete chapter, and we'll have the theorem proving for 7 to 8 different algorithm to be NP complete. Okay, maybe after one class of the approximation class, we can start that portion. So an NP hard problem is also NP complete if verifiable in polynomial time. This line number of times I told you do not have a polynomial time algorithm, but you can verify the solution in polynomial time. Suppose you do not have an exact algorithm to find out the minimum spanning tree for a graph, but if a minimum spanning tree is given, you can verify that this particular set of edges are representing a tree in polynomial time. So solution verification possible in polynomial time, but we do not know the exact algorithm that is going to produce the optimal solution. So the NP hard we can define like this. This is one of the definition. The complexity class of the decision problem. And why we say decision problem? Because we try to prove a decision. We start with a decision problem and prove the problem as a optimization problem. So this is the class of the decision problem that are intrinsically harder than those who that can be solved in non-deterministic tuning machine in polynomial time. So various author uses various definitions, but what they exactly try to say, we do not have any polynomial time algorithm. Sometimes we may have a polynomial time algorithm in a non-deterministic machine that produces a solution. So this is sometimes indirectly it says we can go for a non-deterministic machine and design a polynomial time algorithm for the NP-hard problem. So that's why the machine reference is sometimes is taken to explain or define the NP-hard problem. Okay, but as I say, this is one
Sir, can
definition.
you repeat the NP
Yes,
hard definition?
NP.
Hard. Sir, couldn't understand the definition.
You see, I do not have any polynomial time algorithm to find out the solution to a problem. Okay, in deterministic machine, right? In deterministic machine, I am not finding a polynomial time algorithm. But if I'm looking into a non-deterministic machine, so it finds some solution. How it finds, I do not know, because if I have four choices based on a non-deterministic nature, one of the four cases is selected, then it finds a path. Just look into that. You have a graph, uh, and 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 that graph is a dense graph. You always try to find out a solution from starting node to a goal node. Every time you try to find out a path, either you enter into the dead net, there are many goal states, but you never come to a desired node. Is it clear? I try to find out a path between the two particular nodes, right? How you are going to find it out? How you are going to find it out? Are you getting me? I am trying to find out a solution from a particular vertex to particular vertex in the graph. Okay, the graph is not a fully connected graph. I start with my start vertex and I am using certain mechanism to, let us say I'm using a randomized mechanism to select a vertex. But once I move from my starting vertex to that vertex, then I am finding the next vertex is the dead end and I am not able to reach with the problem. Similarly, if you use a greedy approach, maybe you are selecting smallest or the costliest edge, but you are not going to come to the goal node. So that means you are designing a polynomial time algorithm either by using greedy or by using randomization, but you never land into that goal state. So what we try, then you try to do, you take the same data and to go to a non-deterministic algorithm. You design the non-deterministic algorithm in such a way that in the process of taking decision, when it is moving from to one vertex to other vertex or one state to the other state, it uses some non-deterministic mechanism, but maybe in a first attempt you are finding the path, maybe in the next other all the attempts you are not finding the path. That is I try to say, I do not have any deterministic polynomial time algorithm, but if I have a non-deterministic algorithm that completes in polynomial time or a finite time to find out a solution. Okay, this is the definition based on a non-deterministic, considering a non-deterministic tuning machine. A non-deterministic tuning machine, which is example is your quantum computer. This definition you should not compare with a definition what you are finding in the beginning of the NP complete book or any book definition. That problem is NP hard. Okay, is it clear? It is on non-deterministic machine. Look into the line. The algorithm completes in polynomial time, but
But
it is
sir,
on the top. Yes.
in the last point, it's written that the NP hard is harder than those that can be solved by a non-deterministic Turing machine in polynomial
Okay,
time. But
that is a relative. NP hard is harder than, because that is a relative, depends on the problem. Depends on the problem. No one says that all the problems will be solved. Because you see, when we talk about a problem, you remember one thing, we are ignoring or we are not explicitly mentioning one thing, that is a instance. Got it? When I talk about a graph, am I talking about a complete graph? It can be the vertex in a straight line. Yes or no? If you look into the definition, please remember, I'll again repeat this thing. When we look into the definition of NP completeness, we'll be using the term for all instance. When we say the problem has a polynomial time algorithm, it is going to find out the solution in polynomial time for all instances. You have written a shortest path problem, but it finds the solution in polynomial time for all the 99 instance, but for one set of input, it is not going to find out the solution or not able to coming to the goal state. Then what you call that problem? Are you getting me? For a problem, you developed a polynomial time algorithm. Okay. You tested with your own data and you say, okay, I am finding a path from source node to goal node. Then suddenly you come across a set of input for which your algorithm fails. What is your comment?
My algorithm is in totally correct.
Totally correct. No, it is not. It is not because for all instances you are not able to solve in polynomial time. Should I repeat? You have developed a polynomial time algorithm to find out a shortest path on a graph. So you tested with 10 instance, your friend tested with another 10 instant, then another friend tested with another 10 instant. All of you able to find out a path. Then suddenly someone comes, he supplies certain input data or 10 set of input data. There you are finding all 9 states, they are finding the path. But for one of the set input, your algorithm is not able to come to the goal state. Not able to goal state means it is not terminating in polynomial time. You in between your algorithm stops or you are not able to come to the goal state. So what you call to that type of problem? Forget
Halting
about
problem.
algorithm. Yes, huh?
Halting problem.
Which problem?
Halting problem, sir.
No,
Halting.
that is not halting problem. Halting again you take a wrong way. Halting is means coming to the goal state. No, here the problem is a NP complete problem because
Sir,
there are
satisfiability then.
not satisfiability. You just look into the problem. The NP complete problem definition says you have a polynomial time algorithm for which you supply any input, it finds the solution in polynomial time. What exactly what I try to say, the 99 inputs are taken to or given to the algorithm or supplied to the algorithm. Your algorithm runs on the top of that and finds the solution. For one input, your algorithm fails. That means it is concluded that you are not able to design a polynomial time algorithm. Your problem, you are not able to design you are claiming, but I say I have an instance for which your problem fails. So what is that problem? Is the problem is NP complete? If you could have done for 100 to 100, the problem is coming under P. Is that clear? If you are finding that all instances, for all instances you are finding the solution, it is coming to the family of P. If after going through the 1000 instances and finding the solution, if one instances it fails, that means your algorithm is not a generalized algorithm. It is designed for a special case. That means all instances are not considered. Okay, so these are the problems. In other way, if you want to define a problem to be NP complete or NP hard, you can use this definition. It is not going to produce. That is the reason it uses the concept of the non-deterministic tuning machine. You see, which is the polynomial in nature. If you'll try to, your theoretical computer is your deterministic tuning machine. It is not exactly DFA. DFA is cannot be converted into a machine to run the algorithm. It is a deterministic tuning machine. But here it is non-deterministic tuning machine. Okay, so if we'll look into this, we are not going to the language and others. We are not going through that. This will be taking while discussing NP complete chapter in details, including theorem proving. So now, to coping with the NP hardness, you assume that the problem you prove to be NP hard or the problem you want to prove for NP complete. That also we'll be discussing. Maybe next class we'll stop this particular approximation in between and we'll move to the chapter. So there is one approach. You can go for a brute force algorithm and find out a solution, but you prove that your problem is to be NP complete. So if you can use a brute force algorithm, so you are using a specific strategy for the algorithm like a bubble sort. You can say the algorithm is not meeting into any paradigm, specially designed to find out the solution. So what is the objective? The brute force algorithm, the search space is exponential, but it guaranteed to find out optimal solution. But what is not guaranteed? Because the solution space is exponential, it is not going to give the guarantee on the completion time. So no guarantee in the running time. So you don't have any fixed running time because it is going to examine all the cases, and sometimes those cases are exponential in nature. It requires a huge amount of time, right? Then comes the heuristic. As I say, you have to use certain strategy so that without visiting all the possible solutions, by visiting few, you can summarize or you can conclude that I have obtained a solution. So developed with initiative algorithms guaranteed to run in polynomial time, no guaranteed on the quality of solution. That means when you are applying the heuristic, when you are applying a heuristic, it is something that you arrange a solution space as a tree. When you are traversing from the root node to the solution node, in between the level 2, level 3, you apply certain heuristic and prune, remove that particular branch with a evaluation and conclude that I will not select this branch because probability of finding a solution is 0 by some of your estimation. But by this process, you may be neglecting or you may be missing the optimal solution. So that's why it says no guarantee for the quality of solution. Okay, so that means if you look into backtracking and branch and bound, they are introduced in certain type of bounding function, sometimes the heuristic function, so that instead of visiting all the leaf nodes, we can find out the solution. So no guarantee of the quality solution, or you can say the solution is a suboptimal solution. Now, the third scheme, when it says, you consider another approach, maybe you can uh, add the randomized algorithm into one category, but randomized algorithm sometimes fits into the simple heuristic. So what the algorithm, approximation algorithm does, it is guaranteed to run in polynomial time first. So it is guaranteed to run in polynomial time, very much similar to the heuristic as well as the randomized algorithm, or sometimes simple heuristic algorithm like greedy. The algorithm terminates or algorithm runs in polynomial time. That is first. Second, guarantees to get the solution which is close to the optimal solution. That means the solution obtained is a suboptimal solution or near optimal solution. What is the challenge? Need to prove the solution value is close to optimal solution. You see, it is very interesting. You do not know the optimal solution, then now you designed the algorithm and you are being asked to prove that your solution is close to optimal solution. I told you something about approximation scheme. This is nothing but the set of algorithms proposed and which are close. Set of approximation algorithms are proposed which are close to the optimal solution. That means, let us say the closing value is differ by 2. So within that margin, you may have 10 or 15 algorithm which are not producing optimal solution but are close to the optimal solution. So this is the one of the established approach or procedure to find out the solution to NP complete problem, or sometimes you can say NP hard problem. Okay, now we'll come to the definition. So, okay, this is again will justify why we are going for approximation algorithm. Approximation algorithm returns a solution to a combinatorial problem, or we can say combinatorial optimization problem that is probably close to the optimal solution, because um, it takes exponential time to find out the optimal solution. Then approximation algorithm used to get a solution close to the optimal solution of optimization problem in polynomial time. First one is the quality of solution. Second criticality factor is the polynomial time. Third, the approximation algorithm typically used to find the optimal solution is intractable. That means in general, say you can say the problem is intractable. We can use approximation algorithm. That is one of the conclusion, but can also be used sometimes situation where we are happy with near optimal solution or suboptimal solution. Okay, but what is the motivation? The time complexity is very low, so that we can compare this paradigm over other heuristic paradigm and say that approximation algorithm is better than a typical heuristic algorithm, not in general but for problem specific. Okay, suppose somebody developed a approximation algorithm for traveling salesman problem, somebody developed a genetic algorithm based solution to the traveling salesman problem. Yes, definitely these two has to be applied to various data set, various simulation has to be carried out, say which one is the best. One is uses a heuristic techniques, another is uses a approximation. So some NP complete problem allows polynomial time approximation algorithm. We talk about a algorithm paradigm which is bounded by a polynomial time. Polynomial time approximation algorithm uh, that can be increasingly smaller application ratio. Now this particular term we have not defined. What is a approximation ratio? This approximation is a ratio to be defined in with the reference to the optimal solution. But interestingly, we do not know what is the optimal solution to the problem. So for this we use a mathematical model to assume that what is the optimal solution. Then we might try to find out the ratio. So approximation algorithms are often associated with uh, the NP-hard problem, or we can say in general, say these are the paradigm for which which is used to find out the solution to the NP-hard problem. So approximation algorithms have become the method of choice for attacking the intractable or the combinatorial optimization problem. So these algorithms achieve efficient running time in comparison to the conventional algorithms. So with these motivations, you can say with these motivations, we move to the study of the approximation algorithm. That is the first definition. The definition is very simple. You look into the two terms FO of I represents the instance. That is, you may have a problem, but problem is not the only input to the algorithm. You have a traveling salesman problem, but it is for a graph G1. Then I am also using this algorithm. I may be using to G2. So a problem along with a instance. Again, I repeat, when we try to prove NP complete nature, we are proving that my problem is not able to find out the solution for every instance, right? Every instance. So the approximation algorithm for a problem P is an algorithm that guaranteed approximation solution. So we'll discuss what is approximation solution. So given in optimization problem P and you have a algorithm A. The algorithm is said to be optimization algorithm with reference to a particular problem P. If for any given instance, you see, even given instant, I try to compute the area of a circle, you are supplying a radius to me. So if you are go unable to complete in polynomial time for all possible radius, then I can say the problem is solvable in polynomial time, or we have a polynomial time algorithm. So if for any given instance I, it returns an approximation solution. You see, input you are supplying I, you are expecting a optimal solution, but the algorithm is the approximation algorithm. Because of that algorithm only, the input which you have supplied, you obtained a approximation solution. Okay, so that we are going to designate with your FA, and we assume that let the optimal solution for the instance I is f of O of I. So here the algorithm is used, algorithm A is used to the set of input or instance. So let FA of I will be the feasible solution, of course bounded by a polynomial time. FO of I is theoretically assumed is the optimal solution, also bounded by the polynomial time. So based on these two notation, it is to be defined. Here I was talking before starting that these solutions, when you are finding FO of I and FA of I, it has to be very close to a constant quantity, let that be K. Now, the first, these are the definition we are finding, suppose it's a algorithm which computes the numerical value, maybe a shortest path problem. We need to calculate FO of I. That means for a specific input, you are applying this into a 10 node graph. So your different time you are supplying different 10 nodes. So FO of I difference with FA of I. I think I told you FO of I is the optimal solution. How you obtained or how we obtained, we do not know. It is a theoretical representation. The solution which I obtained with a instance I for a for or sorry with the help of a approximation algorithm. Okay, that's why we represent them f of a of I. So when I find out the difference in between the optimal solution and the solution proposed by approximation algorithm, these differences are within a tolerance, within a number. Let us say now we are not restricting this number to be k. We simply write that it will be less than equal to k. Now, with this ratio, whether it will be less than equal to 1, it will less than equal to 2, it is less than equal to 0.5. This is going to define you the different type of approximation scheme. So f of n approximation scheme. This is the second definition. If A is an f of n approximation algorithm, if and only if for every instance of size I, you try to find out the shortest path for n cross n matrix. So if you take any n cross n matrix, that represents your I with size n. Now similarly, the solution or the difference between the optimal solution and solution obtained by a proposed approximation algorithm divided by your optimal solution obtained, if this particular ratio divided by f of I is less than f of n. F of n is a quantity that is going to designate a algorithm. That is, I told you one approximation algorithm, 1/2 approximation algorithm. Here we are introducing f of n, where the algorithm is to be represented with a function of instance or n. So then it is called as a f of n approximation algorithm, assuming that the optimal solution which will be obtained is a positive number f of O of I. So this is the second definition. Then third definition is epsilon approximation algorithm, a very small positive value. A particular algorithm, or you can say a approximation algorithm, can be called as epsilon approximation algorithm if and only if for every instance of I. I think now it is understood, for every instance of I, you have designed to write down an algorithm for 4 cross 4 matrix multiplication. So I can supply any 4 cross 4 matrix in terms of the data, in terms of the input matrix. So that's why it says every instance. These lines are important. So if for every instance, that means for all possible inputs that is represented by a variable I of a particular size n, then this condition holds, that is absolute value of f of I difference f of a of I divided by the optimal solution of f of I is less than equal to epsilon. So this whole ratio what we have computed in this case, okay, the same ratio we are taking here, but only we are changing the limit. Okay, this is less than epsilon, it is less than a function. So for some constant epsilon, we assume that for positive value, I mean f of I greater than 0, if this condition holds, so it is a epsilon approximation algorithm. What I told from the beginning, a problem statement will be available. You will be asked to write down a 1/3 approximation algorithm. Okay, we'll learn that how to write it. So the polynomial time algorithms may have the small constant approximation ratio. This is the designer's objective. We try to go for a very small epsilon, or in general we try it to have the less than 1. Okay, so this may have approximation ratio that grows as a function of the input size n, and to achieve increasingly smaller approximation ratio by using more and more computation time. So this is the designer's challenge. Always we try to design an approximation algorithm where these difference will be small. This difference will be small. The smaller the epsilon value, the quality is good or will have a appreciation. Okay. Now, if we try to summarize, I'm just looking into one point that approximation algorithm is way to approach NP completeness for optimization problem. Other alternatives are randomized algorithm, you can say greedy, you can go for any other schemes. The goal of the approximation algorithm is to come as close as possible to the optimal value. Because you see, optimal solution we cannot obtain because we do not have any optimal algorithm. So the competition among the programmer, I mean the algorithm designer, who will be designed very close to that. So what happened in the process of design, there are many algorithms are come up for a single problem with that tolerance of 2 or 3. Then it becomes challenging. You have so many algorithms, you want to club it up. So that's why we are going for a particular term that is called approximation scheme. Okay, a family of algorithm, all are approximation algorithm, but this every algorithm obeys that epsilon value. That means algorithm A, it is less than equal to 1.1 by 3. Algorithm B is also less than equal to 1 by 3. Algorithm C is also less than 1 by 3. So all of them are put into a particular group, that is the approximation scheme. Okay, looking into the definition and others, one should not confuse with this symbol used row. So here we are trying to define a approximation ratio. You know, you are finding a positive number, then an approximation scheme. So if this is said to be approximation scheme, so which is nothing but the uniform collection of algorithms that guaranteed the several different approximation ratio. Okay, but that ratio is within certain limit, and that limiting parameter is rows. You can name or you can take epsilon or any other variable. So then we club up those algorithm into single entity. I repeat again, you have different approximation algorithm. Each is associated with a approximation ratio, but that approximation ratio is in between two consecutive integer, maybe in between 2 to 3, in between 4 to 5. So that we can put them into a group that every algorithm, the row value is coming to their rescue. Why you put them into one group? Because they are close to the optimal solution by certain difference, and that difference is applicable to all algorithms. So we call them as a approximation scheme. So the second paragraph defines the approximation scheme. So approximation scheme for a optimization problem is an algorithm that takes the input not only an instance of the problem but also the value epsilon. So here algorithm takes two value. It takes the input, it takes the epsilon. It produces the solution and says that it obeys epsilon such that for any fixed epsilon value, the scheme is 1 plus c epsilon approximation algorithm. So this is the difference. So we simply add 1 to that. That means if you have to prove that it's a two approximation algorithm, we'll be using this trick. You'll be finding the algorithm holds for epsilon 1 and 1 plus 1 will be added so that you can prove a algorithm to be two approximation algorithm. Just I need to share a question. Suppose you are looking into a job scheduling problem and it is asked that you design a you design a approximation algorithm, and let it be in particular they say design a 1 by 3 approximation algorithm for a job scheduling. Are you getting me? Design a 1 by 3 approximation algorithm for job settling. Then this factor becomes critical and we try to propose an algorithm and prove it. Okay, so now if you look into the running time of a polynomial time approximation scheme, here approximation scheme is a group of algorithm can increase very rapidly as the epsilon decreases. Okay, so so if you look into this definition, it is obvious with this in a polynomial time approximation scheme, that is the number of algorithm increases, then we'll be having a better accuracy. And ideally, if epsilon decreases for a constant factor, the running time should not be increased by more than a constant factor. That means if the epsilon is very, very close, you have a group of algorithms, all are being bounded by a constant. We'd like to the running time of a polynomial is 1 by epsilon as well as for the instant size n. So we can write that type of schemes or that group of approximation algorithms are fully polynomial time approximation scheme if the running time of a polynomial both in 1 divided by epsilon and for a fixed size of n of the input instance. Okay, so instead of first one we try to express in terms of, yeah, first one we tried to express in terms of simple epsilon, then it's plus 1 plus epsilon, then it comes to 1 divided by epsilon. So some constant. So looking into that, we are going to define the approximation scheme, polynomial time approximation scheme, which is shortly known as the PTAS. The PTAS is the common abbreviation which is used, and the third one is fully polynomial time approximation scheme, which is FPTAS. Okay, so the first one definition is clear. We go back to the previous definition. Optimal solution, for instance, I difference with the solution obtained by proposed approximation algorithm, their absolute value divided by solution to the objective function with instance I is less than equal to epsilon. This is sometimes becomes a problem statement to for the students to prove. It can be for any algorithm. It can be for any problem. Maybe for spanning tree, maybe for traveling salesman, you will be asked to prove that. So polynomial, the second definition, though we have discussed the polynomial time approximation scheme. So this is valid for a set of algorithms which are actually producing suboptimal solution in polynomial time with certain tolerance. That tolerance is epsilon. Okay, so the third one, the fully polynomial time approximation scheme. So here the problem size and 1 by epsilon is the fully, I mean, for a corresponding to the problem size, the complexity, I mean, the ratio, the f of o of I difference f of a of I divided by f of I will be less than 1 by epsilon. So these are the different class of algorithms that comes under approximation algorithm. So now what is the objective? The problem is there. We are looking for algorithm that finds the near optimal or suboptimal solution. This agenda is fixed. So here we assume two hypotheses. Each potential solution has a positive cost. Otherwise, how could you measure? Because you need to compare the ratio. Second assumption, the problem may be either a maximization problem or minimization problem. We cannot apply this study to with two conflicting objectives. That sometimes we look into some real world problem, we used to write maximize the energy saving, minimize the operating cost. So there are two equations. So those type of problems here we cannot accommodate. Okay, so always whenever we select a paradigm, we used to say, please justify why you are selecting paradigm. So here also these 2 points are crucial. If you try to design a approximation solution or a approximation algorithm or a approximation scheme, then these two are the first hypothesis which you have to incorporate into your system. Okay, then only we can go for designing approximation algorithm. Now, when it comes to the performance ratio, here the notations are slightly different because I have used for two different book. There we are using FO of I. That is here, this is the output. FO of I of instant I, output is C star, and then the answer is C, which is close to the optimal solution. So C star is the optimal solution. C is the solution obtained by the algorithm. C is the solution obtained by the algorithm. Maybe in particular you can say C is the solution obtained by the approximation algorithm. So what we try to do, we compare. We go for the ratio again C divided by C star, and then here in case of performance ratio we try to compare both the solutions, that is optimal solution divided by solution obtained by approximation algorithm and vice versa. So that is C divided by C star and C star divided by C, and then we take the max of that and we try to find out a particular algorithm which obeys to a epsilon or a row, and this row n actually represents for the instance size for which I have tried. Let us say I am trying for a matrix of 3 cross 3, so n value will be 3, and if I am trying for a vertex with n number of vertex, that value is n, and those arrangements will be characterized by the ratio. Rho is the ratio. So that will be, and we call it as the, it will be rho n approximation algorithm. N is the instance, rho is the ratio through which the objective optimal solution and the approximation solution obtained by approximation algorithm differs. So now this approximation ratio rho n, so this is the author's notation. The epsilon and the rho n has the same value. Here epsilon we don't attach the instance, here we attach the instance, n is the instance. Okay, so we define approximation ratio. You can use the previous definition to define approximation ratio, which is epsilon, or you can use the rho of n. So that is if for any input size n, the cost C of the solution produced by the algorithm is within the factor of the rho n. That means every time we try to compare with the solution obtained, keeping the instance size n as a constant with a approximation algorithm. If both the conditions are met, I mean the maximum value you have taken from C divided by C star or C stars divided by C, if that obeys the approximation ratio or less than approximation ratio, then the result. So the performance ratio, what in general in maximization problem, if 0 is less than C star, so rho n will be C star divided by star, and obviously the second case C divided by C star if C star is less than C. So this what it says, this particular rho n is never less than 1, looking into this condition. So an algorithm that achieves the approximation ratio rho n is called a rho n approximation algorithm, or if you can use the notation epsilon, you can call epsilon approximation algorithm, which represents a constant. Now, if the rho n for the n number of instance or input n, rho n, you can treat this as epsilon, not to be confused. The n represents the size of the instance. So this is a one approximation algorithm produces an, if you are finding that rho n is greater than equal to 1, you call it as a one approximation algorithm. This also comes to one more definition. So in a problem statement, you are going to write down algorithm. It will ask you to prove that this algorithm is a 1/3 approximation algorithm or 2/3 approximation algorithm. Okay, so the algorithm I mean approximation ratio can be constant or grow as a function of the input side. That is the reason, because if this is point to be considered, instead of writing only epsilon, this particular notation becomes the standard, or you can say it is prefer if you are going to write down the rho n, because in the definition you are defining it is a function of input size. As we have discussed, it is solving, it is finding the solution to all 99 cases, but failed to do to 1. And then what you try to do, you replace that algorithm with the approximation algorithm and try it. You are finding the solution. This is the approach. You are not able to find out the solution in conventional, but you are finding a solution using approximation algorithm. So the goal is to find out a polynomial time approximation algorithm. Okay, polynomial time approximation algorithm with small constant approximation ratio. We try to reduce the value of epsilon, or you can say reduce the value of rho n as small as possible. So that means when a designer try to design algorithm, he always try to find out that the approximation ratio value should be less. So now this is the last slide. If x1 and x2 are two NP complete problem, and let A be the optimal solution which is obtained for the x1. Now, if it is feasible to reduce here, actually what you try to say, now look into that. We briefly I told about the reducibility. Okay, here suppose you designed an approximation algorithm to one problem which was earlier proved to be NP complete. Then there is another problem which is NP complete. It is there. Now we are looking for a reducibility relationship. So if it is feasible to reduce the instance of x2 to the instance of x1, then we are looking back when we try to use this mechanism to prove a problem to be NP complete. So if one is going to be complete, then other is going to be complete. So if it is feasible to reduce the instance of x2 and to an instance of x1, so that algorithm A can be used to find the optimal solution to the x2. Okay, so this is again I explained, this is the approach used just like same to the reducibility. Now if a approximation is a approximation algorithm to find the approximate solution to the x1, that is for a given NP complete problem, we can say the same algorithm to compute the approximate solution per x2. But answer is no. We cannot say the good algorithm to x2 will solve the, x1 will solve the x2. This you remember as a conclusion that if somebody say the problem x2 can be reduced or can be obtained from x1, if x1 has a polynomial, x1 has a approximation algorithm, and that cannot be applied to another data set, that is x2. Okay, so this is sometimes if you look into that, these are something I'm sharing of my own work. When we work on the approximation algorithm, we did the thesis on that. So this is a typical algorithm, but look into the question which is critical. And if you want the proof of this, I'll be sharing one chapter of my thesis where we are proving that how this algorithm is greedy algorithm. Okay, this algorithm is greedy algorithm, and when you look why it is greedy, so the particular queue to or the list to which we try to put the task, this algorithm is preceded by another algorithm that is arranged in a particular order. Okay, now this algorithm is another algorithm which is proposed, and look into the problem statement. This is a 3 by 2. But how to prove that? So these things possible. I'll upload to the team. You can see these things how we prove it. Okay, now the next part actually will be discussing how to design the approximation algorithms. As I told from the beginning, you see for the combinatorial algorithms we can use greedy, we can use the independent system, and we can use submodular function. This is the three different way to design the algorithms, approximation algorithms for combinatorial problems. What he tried to say, for which type of problem, which paradigm will be used. That means you are writing a greedy algorithm, but proving that the same algorithm is a approximation algorithm by designating or by defining a epsilon. That means this algorithm is a greedy algorithm, and after deciding we are tried to prove this as a theorem that it is a 3 by 2 approximation algorithm. This 3 by 2 is nothing but the row value. Okay. So this is from my side for introduction to approximation algorithm, and then we'll move to particular problems, how we are going to do that. And these materials I have uploaded to Microsoft Team. Please have a look into that. We have 6 to 7 algorithms under approximation algorithm. Just if any of you remember a convex hull problem, these are the points for which I need to find out the boundary with a minimum number of points lying on the boundary. Okay, so optimization problem What he tried to do in approximation algorithm is very simple. Let us divide, let us calculate the coordinate. This is x maximum, this is this is your x maximum, this is your x minimum. So we find out the x minimum and x maximum. So we got this distance. This distance we divided into equal number of strips. Then what we try to do, we try to connect from this vertex to this vertex, this vertex to this vertex. So if a vertex comes on the on the line, that will be definitely considered. Then when you try to connect the vertex to find out the area, if you will connect this vertex to the vertex in the second column, we are ignoring a particular vertex, a black dot here. Here it starts approximation. I told that I have to find out a shortest path using 50 cities, but I have written an algorithm which actually ignores the two cities knowingly and calculate a path by using 48 nodes. So here you see this node will be not considered. We try to connect these two lines. Similarly, when you come into this particular nodes actually falls within that, so it is obviously will be not considered. So then we try to join to obtain the convex solve. This is a very simple example how we are going to design the approximation algorithm. Okay. So that's all from my side, and if you have any query, you can ask, but initially I know it will be a bit of not exactly a problem, but you have to start with a PG level mindset that you are going to study a new paradigm of the algorithm, so that you can have some solution to some of the problems whose complexity is high. Okay. You can follow the Corman for that. You can follow another book which I have suggested, SK Basu. So any of the algorithm will do for you. Okay. But these algorithms are, for your information, these algorithms are not simulated or implemented to study, but sometimes we take a chance to simulate this type of algorithm and try to compare with a conventional greedy algorithm. Okay. Okay, then thank you. I'll stop with this. I'll end the meeting with this today. We'll be discussing in the next class with a particular example. Interestingly, we'll be starting with actually the traveling salesman problem, and the design approach actually will create a spanning tree, and from the spanning tree algorithm, spanning tree will convert the solution for a TSP. That is one of the author's suggestion how to design a approximation algorithm for minimum spanning tree.